Hello everybody, how are you guys doing today? Welcome in, welcome to the stream. Butterscorch, welcome. Blue, how you doing? Saved enough pocket money to get Black Templar's Emperor's Champion. Convert to some sort of huge Commander E character. Very nice, very nice. Emperor's Champion's always been a cool mini. Alright. I am nursing a bit of a headache here, but we're going to try to push through for a bit. See if I can't get some painting in. What is going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Found a way to make Twitch work at work. Whoa, yeah! Alright. Hacks. Absolute hacks. Love it. Love it, dude. Okay. Let's highlight some colors. Cool with that? We cool with that? That's wild though. Just bypassing the company. Take that, place of employment. Trying to block Twitch, how dare you. Alright. We're gonna get some ivory. Just classic eye for an ivory here. Raja, good morning. And then we're gonna highlight stuff. That's cool with you guys. We're gonna get moving. Just try. That's fair. That's fair. No, that's all good. I appreciate it. Let's get a somewhat. Let's not get the smallest brush we have. That one might work really well. Yeah. All right. We're going to take ivory and we're just going to go through and do a bit of like an edge highlight on everything. That's how we're going to do this. Yeah, how's everybody doing this morning? How you guys doing? Doing pretty good. I'm a bit tired, and like I said, I got a bit of a headache that won't go away. Oh. Just focusing on something else will help it go. Jaded Valkyrie, welcome in. And guys, we are doing Hangout tonight, so you guys want to come chill? That'd be great. For all the Patreon peeps. Not entirely sure what color scheme use my Skitari. Always pay them the same as your Dark Mech. Yeah, I'd say match them up with a Dark Mech, but I think there are a lot of color schemes that look good on those Skitari minis. I don't like the studio color scheme with like the white cloaks and stuff. It's not my favorite, but you know, this is about you and what you like. So screwing your tire. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. You know, one of my tires, I had like low pressure. I refilled it as like one of my tires that was a lot lower than the others. And about 2 months later, I just went the other day and put air in my tires because my low pressure light came on, and then that one was down like half the PSI it should be, and all the others were fine. So I'm thinking there's some kind of leak in that tire, but I also don't think the leak is big enough for me to take it somewhere for them to find it. So I probably just need to wait and pay attention to it. T-Slayer, my draw, welcome in, guys. I'll swing by, not sure if I can. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Be there after dinner. Very nice. That's awesome, Jaded Valkyrie. Be good to see you again. Luckily, missed Hangout or most of it. Doing a game of Daggerheart with friends tonight. Okay, well, geez. Alright, I guess I'll just chill and chat with Zen or something if he shows up. Now he's got a lady friend he talks to about that time, so maybe I'll just be by myself. Your equivalent of a Walmart greeter, yeah. We pay you under the table, so none of us have a tax liability. That's how we do this. Welcome to Moe's. Moe's or Moo's? Not sure I'm familiar with that. I played a game of Heresy last night with my 1,000 Suns, and anyone who's caught my YouTube videos, my latest one, I made my list as part of the video, my list for the game tonight, and had a ton of fun. It was an absolute blast. I had some of the worst luck I think I have had in a tabletop game, like, period. Probably up there, at least the first half game. Oh, Moe's, yeah, okay. I have never been to a Moe's, never. Okay. Oh, more you know. Moe's is the best. Queso, alright. I've heard Moe's is like the best of those like 3 kind of big chains, those big burrito chains, because there's like Chipotle, there's Qdoba, and then there's Moe's, and I've heard Moe's is the best. But I've never had Qdoba or Moe's, so. Oh, there's also Hothead Burrito that's just terrible, so I don't even put that. It's like the crappy fast food version of the burritos. You worse Chipotle? No, it's better because Chipotle's gotten worse. Yeah, Moe's hasn't gotten better. It's just Chipotle's gotten worse. Man, I love this timeline. I love it. Yeah. The whole point of me streaming is for you guys to distract me. So I'm totally cool. Hothead's so bad, dude. When I had a real job, I bought my first car. My wife and I bought our first car in like the same year. We were doing really good that year. We paid off all of our debt, except for our house. So like student loan debt was paid off, and my wife was pregnant at the time, and so we just had all kinds of money every month. It was incredible. We were both working full time, like, just man. When you don't have kids, you have so much extra money. It's crazy. Like once you get established or whatever. Anyway, not the rant here, but that was our time. Both of our cars were very old, so this is a real job. You stop it. All right. Whoa, hey! Thank you for the subs. Thanks for the gifted subs, anonymous gifter, whoever that may be. An Ashen Jedi, Sectorix? I haven't seen Sectorix in a while. Thorin Oakenshield, Prairie Dog. Drace Henry, welcome in. Yeah, cheers and honest for the kiss. Yeah, wonder who that is. But it wasn't me this time, I promise. Okay. Well, thank you, anonymous gifter. I really appreciate it. Pays real money in exchange for product or service is a real job. That's true. Man, another aside. So I'm gonna rant of a rant. Okay. I'll get back to Hothead Burrito because I hate it. But my first job, I had a couple jobs when I was a teenager. My first one was working at a horse race track, which is crazy. But they had a clubhouse, like a fancy restaurant for like rich people to go and gamble. And I was a busser. But as a busser, it basically meant that I would serve people drinks and clean up everything and like make sure that they always had refills, and like I did half the job the server did, and I would make like no tips. That job was horrible. The hours were terrible. And I decided to go to prom, and they were like, well, you can't take the day off, and I was like, cool, I quit. So that was how that job ended after like a month. And I got another job working for a park, which was incredible. It was a summer job as like a nature instructor. So I would actually teach nature classes and then run things like high ropes courses and climbing towers and zip lines and stuff. It was a lot of fun. Nah, Blue, thanks for gifting this up to Mayhem. I appreciate that. So I worked that job for multiple. Yeah, I do the fun parts of being a ranger. Exactly. Yeah. I didn't make great money, but I was also 16 when I started the job. So like I was making above minimum wage when I was 16, which I think I was making $6 an hour my first summer, which I think minimum wage was like $5.75. I was like, yeah, better than minimum wage. And I got 40 hours a week in the summer. I worked like, it was like 12 or 13 weeks. It was a blast. Job was I got to like play with cool animals, you know. I would teach lessons about snakes and spiders and turtles and all kinds of stuff like that. And like we had the animals at the park, and yeah, not to mention playing on high ropes courses, you know, like one day a week we do high ropes course, one day a week we do climbing tower and zip line, and it was a blast. Job was a ton of fun. I worked that job I did that 4 summers in a row. And but when I turned 18, I started working like through the school year. I do like after school stuff and do things like that. Well, yeah, the busser was lame. Man, I hate working food service. I hate it. Well, when I turned 20, spoiler alert, guys, I got married really young. Okay, and you guys can judge me, but my wife is my best friend. She's been my best friend since we were teenagers. And I proposed to my wife when I was 18 years old. So like I knew what I wanted. We both knew what we wanted, and I ended up getting married when I was 20. Well, yeah, Mydro would approve. I know. I bet Mydro got married pretty young. But so that the year we got married, it was 2010 when we got married. Earlier that year I was in college, and
first of all, let me take
for some reason I wasn't working at the place like doing, hey Veritech, hey, thanks for the sub, man, or the follow, dude, jumping in on Twitch. Oh man, we're gonna have stuff to rant about soon with Veritech. You just wait. I'm like Inception in rants right now, but so yeah, her members of her family took bets on how long our marriage would last, and so far our marriage has outlasted 2 of the people that took bets. Which is incredible. We married 16 years this summer. But anyway, I got a job, and it was actually my buddy Killicam had been working at this place for years. Like it was his teenage job, and he was a beast at it. But he worked at a pizza place. So I needed a job. I needed to earn some money before I got married. I was gonna we're gonna try to get like an apartment. I needed some extra income, so I got a job at a pizza place. And you know, it's a job at a pizza place. It paid minimum wage. It was garbage. It was terrible, but I was like, you know, I'll do whatever I have to get the extra money. And so I go and I fill out the application, and the store manager like does like a little interview, you know, in the front of the restaurant. And he asked me about my work experience, and I told him, well, I worked here at this horse track. You know, I was a busser there, like a server, and then I worked at this park, and for this big corporation, ran like park stuff. I worked at this park, and I've been doing that for 4 years. And this guy who runs a pizza restaurant, all right, and has done this his entire life, all right, he looks at me and he says, oh, I also did like childcare during the year, like after school stuff and everything for like kids that do like after school programs. So that's what I did during the year. He looks at me and he says, oh, so you're getting a real job now. And I was like, what? I was like, what about this is a real job over like over anything else? I remember like chuckling and just like brushing it off. But I remember how much that stuck with me, where the manager and there is nothing wrong at all about working in any kind of food service or any job you have, right? Like we all deserve to be respected with what we do. We all deserve to make a living and to be able to survive and live comfortably with our job, you know, whatever we're doing. But the fact that this guy was like, oh, you're getting a real job on like on like me working at a pizza place, just Yeah, I don't know. That was just something that stuck with me. Yeah. Society would literally collapse if the jobs that aren't real stop. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this country would probably the whole world would just come to a stop. Dang, 18 years, Mydro. Dang, 21 years, Misfit. Nice. Or were you married at 21? Or are you going on 21 years? That's crazy. So, just random thing. I worked for that job for about 8 months, and it was funny. My wife had just graduated college when we got married, and our agreement was when she gets a full-time job as a teacher, I'll stop working at the pizza place. And I remember it was like the day after she got hired and got word that she was going to be a teacher. Yeah, I called and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be in tonight or any other night. I quit. And that was it. So I got a lot of free pizza from that place, though. I'm a teenager, so I don't know about marriage. That's fair. That's fair. Mass starvation. Farmers in the world won't matter if there is no one to stock the shelves. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, okay. And that leads me back to, all right, let's go to Hothead Burrito rant, okay? We're gonna talk about Hothead Burrito. So my wife and I, the summer she was pregnant with our son, we had paid off like all of our student loans. We were putting so much money towards student loans. We both had like good paying jobs, like things were going really well. We had all kinds of disposable income, but we made a plan. We're like, hey, before our son is born, we're going to each buy a new car because our cars were old and rickety. I had a 2000 Ford Mustang. That car at that point was 16 years old. It was 2016, had over 100,000 miles, and was starting to fall apart. I loved that Mustang, but yeah, it was a V6, but it had I had a cold air intake on it. It was a manual transmission. Had a nice exhaust, like a Flowmaster exhaust on it. It was great, ton of fun to drive, but it was falling apart. My wife had a 2001 something. You're still driving the Corolla? Nice, dude. Yeah. I had like jerry rigged so many little like repairs and stuff on my Mustang too. It was crazy. Like that car was. So we bought new cars, and a guy I worked with was like a Honda bro. I don't know. He was obsessed with Hondas, and like he owned 3 different Hondas. He was a single man, all right, and owned 3 different Hondas. He had like the original year CRV from like the early 90s or something. And the big claim to fame with that CRV, it's tiny, but it had a spare tire on the back, and in the trunk of the CRV, where normal spare tires are kept nowadays in most cars, in that under the floor, it was a fold-out table and chairs. So the idea is like you go camping and you just have like a table and chairs right there, like a card table, which is really cool. So it was a cool little car, but he had a little like riced out old Honda Civic and everything. But anyway, he was so obsessed with Hondas. This dude, he like made a deal with me, and he said, hey, he's like, if you drive to lunch, he's like, I will buy you lunch anytime we go to lunch. He's like, I'll just let you know I want to go to lunch, and if he's like, if you drive, I'll pay for lunch. And me being a cheapskate, figured I'm not going to turn down a free lunch. So I would drive. Me and this dude would drive to lunch like 3 or 4 days a week, because again, he was a single dude, and I don't know, he I think his parents bought him a house. He was close to my age. It was a weird situation, but he so we would drive to lunch. There was a good not even 3. We were right down the street from like 50 different restaurants. Yeah. And I got to drive my new car. I have my nice, it was a 2016 Honda Civic I got. It was black with the ivory interior, and it was the EX version, had the push button start. It was really nice. Someone hit me head on in 2021 and totaled it. But anyway, so there was a good multi-week period where all this dude wanted to eat was hothead burrito. And at that point, that was the first time I tried hothead burrito, and I think it had just opened in this particular location. So we went the first time, and I noticed, the first thing I noticed in this restaurant was all of the lettuce was brown. Like, just straight up brown. Like the shredded, like iceberg lettuce or whatever, romaine lettuce, whatever they're supposed to put on the stuff. It was just brown. So I was like, okay, note to self, don't get lettuce on my burrito. Otherwise, the burrito was like very like mediocre. Like, it was cool. They had like lots of different sauces, and you get like buffalo sauce and everything, and I was a fan of it. But then he proceeded to want to eat there like every single day for like 3 weeks straight. And I had to tell him no. Like, I can't do it anymore. We gotta find something else. So, who gets lettuce on a burrito? Yeah, I think it was just their strategy to not have to give people lettuce. Like, it's really just like a picture of lettuce in the bowl, and it's just like a really high def picture of lettuce, and they just don't want people eating lettuce on their burrito. Yeah, once I put my foot down, though, we stopped going to Hothead Burrito, and I have never wanted to go back to that place. And this was also a time when Chipotle was still good. So there was a Chipotle right down the street, and I'm sitting there like, we're eating this garbage like brown lettuce burrito, and I could be eating Chipotle. I feel like I'm getting robbed. But it was also free lunch, so. My brother-in-law, he lived in Indiana, never did though. Yeah, I think he dodged a bullet. No, it's not good. Eventually we started going to all kinds of crazy places because there's a lot of good lunch places that we would go to. It's a place called Five Guys Burgers and Fries. If you guys have ever heard of it, it's the weirdest name, but it's a burger place that is super expensive. It used to not be expensive. They bragged about, the $5 hamburger. We have a $5 hamburger, and now it's somehow you go in there and you spend $30 for yourself. I don't understand like how they manage that. But this dude he would pay for lunch, and like we would get all the things. It was pretty awesome. Across your work, that's pretty good. Okay, that's fair. I mean, that makes sense. Like, they're not all gonna be the same, but that's good. I hated pickups from there because they're slow. Yeah, they are really slow. Yeah. Yeah, the last time I went to a Five Guys burger place, I hadn't been there in a long time, and I heard they did milkshakes. Like, they started serving milkshakes or whatever. I was like, that's sweet. I do love milkshakes. So I went in there, I got burgers, fries, a drink, and milkshakes, and a milkshake for myself, and it was over $30. And I don't understand, like, did I just pay like $12 for French fries? Like, how did, like, that was a big meal. Like, I spent, I got a lot of stuff, but that was crazy. Yeah, there's Culver's near us. Yeah, there's Culver's around Central Ohio and stuff, so Culver's is incredible. Culver's, in my opinion, is like the Midwest like burger place. Yeah, Culver's has cheese curds. Yeah, they do the butter burger, and apparently they have like a pork tenderloin sandwich. It's supposed to be really good. Yeah, there's a Culver's right down the street from my one of my LGSs that I go to. But there is also a way better Mediterranean restaurant that's right down the street from there. So if I want to clear out a room, I can go eat at the Mediterranean restaurant and just consume like 35 cloves of garlic in my meal, and then no one wants to be near me. It was good. I took my family out last night to celebrate my brother-in-law's birthday, and it was like $60, 6 of us at the pizza buffet. Yeah. It's so expensive to eat at a restaurant anymore that like I almost never do that. Yeah. Oh man, I love Mediterranean food, and this place I think the owners are Jordanian, if I'm not mistaken. But holy cow, that food is so good. Yeah, Central Ohio and like this area is known for just like being nothing but chains. And yeah, we don't have a lot of like small restaurants, at least not like American kind of food restaurants. There's a lot of like ethnic restaurants and everything. So which is great because there's such incredible food that you find. And the sign there are two signs of a really good restaurant run by immigrants. Two things that you look for that it's going to be good. So like I go into a Mediterranean restaurant, and like if you see a lot of like Arabic or Middle Eastern people, like it's going to be good, because if it's just full of white people, I'm sorry, like it's not giving me good vibes. And the other is if there's a little kid doing homework somewhere, like it's family owned, and that place is gonna be really good. The halal food sign, yeah, it's another good one. Yeah, because the halal and like kosher foods are really strict standards, and normally have kind of a better quality. Franchise chains have run all the local places around. That's good. Meet the singles, couples, kids, not at home, pressure to go out. It costs you $30. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's crazy. My wife and I, we used to go out to eat all the time before our son was born, and we would try to be really cheap, and we would go places and like use coupons at a chain and like not spend more than like $10 or $12 for the two of us. It was awesome. Like I'd do that every day. But yeah, going out with my son or even just the two of us, it's like a $50 minimum for 3 people to eat at a restaurant. You pay your martyr. All right, Quishy. Good to see you. Sorry, dude, I'm just ranting about food right now. There, love it. It's gonna be good. Yeah, that's kind of my thought. It's like you get the I gotta hope they give you the real menu. Yeah. You learn a couple food languages, or a couple food words, and the native language of the restaurant, and you get really happy restaurant owners. You feel better. That's good, man. That's good. What is that? What is that, Mydro? Is it like Vietnamese pho or whatever? I tried that once, and it wasn't my favorite. Didn't know until after you eat. Oh, okay. It's tripe or something. Is that what it is? Super boring for good food. We have an awesome farm-to-table restaurant. That's cool. Yeah. I had like actual Japanese food a couple weeks ago with Zen, and it was incredible. How's your weather looking? Yeah, so okay, Blue, weather is like perfect. We have freezing mornings that's getting up into like the upper 40s and 50s, and then it's going below freezing. So I set the buckets back up, set the taps back up last night, and one of the buckets already has a good amount of sap in it, a minimum like a couple cups, and that was when I checked it this morning. So I checked it at like 9 a.m. this morning. So today it's going to get pretty warm. I think it's going to get like in the 50s today, or close to it. So I'm excited. We got more sap. Do the second run of syrup. And I might try to boil it down this weekend, but I know this weekend is also good weather, so I'm going to keep the buckets hooked up. See if I can't get something else. Yeah, the second run, yeah. It's really cool. And I feel like I'm a lot more confident. I know what I'm doing a lot more here, so that'll be good. I also know that boiling sap in the pot doesn't like destroy the pot, so I'm confident I'm not gonna like ruin something of ours. Okay, we got that guy with the bone color. Yep, let's get the other one. Yeah, I did my first batch. It was about 4 gallons of sap that I had, and it reduced down to about 8 ounces. And I was messaging Blue like all afternoon while I was boiling. It took about 4 hours from start to finish for about 4 gallons. And I don't have like a giant pot, you know, it's just like a soup pot basically. And I had like a propane stove outside I was boiling it over. It reduced down when I finished it, like I said, it was about 8 ounces, and the syrup was very light and thin. And Blue actually was talking to his grandma, so it was his grandma and grandpa would make syrup because he lives in like a place where they can make a lot of syrup, and like that was a big thing. So so he was talking to her, and apparently like that first run, like the early sap is usually a lot lighter and thinner and like not as good. So you know, I'm doing a second run now, and it should be the good stuff. We'll see if it's the good stuff. Your great grandfather had a sap house. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so I'm just sitting here in Ohio, like getting maple syrup. But family has loved it. So last weekend we did Hootenanny Saturday, is what we called it. We made Hootenanny, which is it's like a breakfast. It's just a Dutch baby. If you guys are familiar with a Dutch baby, it's like a weird mix between a pancake and French toast. But we made that for our syrup to try our syrup on. Painting Son loved it. And Painting Wife already likes that syrup more than normal maple syrup. Here's where we hung about 400 buckets. That's wild. That's so crazy. Yeah, I have 2 buckets. I have a total of 4 buckets, but when we doing the next collective Hootenanny Saturday, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll try to get it going again, because that was good. It's a good way to eat syrup. Once a month, there we go. It pays a lot, does it really? Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. I think this weekend my wife and I are also going to start some gardening stuff. We're going to try to run a vegetable garden. I'm going to be the homestead dad in my little residential neighborhood corner lot here. 5 gallons of water is 40 pounds, assuming sap is denser. Sounds like you'd get fit. Yeah, I don't know if the sap is that much heavier, because it's basically like water. The consistency is water. It's very thin. And the cold. Yeah, that's why Crucial can like deadlift 800 pounds, dude. He's basically the mountain at this point. Sneak shops of syrup for the... Yeah, you would, yeah. That's great. That's a good, like, kid memory, though. Just drinking maple syrup all day. All right, where's Veritech? Veritech, you still chilling, or did I bore you away? Because Veritech was talking about. He posted a gaming news thing about Atomic Mass Games and how they are basically dropping Star Wars Shatterpoint. Because right now, Atomic Mass, their 3 games are Shatterpoint, Legion, and Marvel Crisis Protocol. And they put out this like press release that they are focusing on Legion and MCP, and they're like, oh yeah, we're still gonna be, doing all the tournament level stuff for Shatterpoint. It's just not gonna be a big focus. It's like 100% this is the last year for Shatterpoint. So apparently it didn't do as well. Yeah. Hey, Raja, welcome to my world. That is Asmodee and Atomic Mass Games in a nutshell, right? So Veritech mentioned he mentioned how he liked Armada. And I was like, man, we need to talk about, man, all these Thousand Suns dudes. And there's a correlation, all right. Our Thousand Suns fans are talking about how much they like Armada. So it's definitely the highbrow level of gaming there. Evelios, what's going on, man? You don't need painting bugs, dude. Don't worry about it. There were rules that came out for... you have a full Separatist fleet? Oh, nice. I do as well. I have everything for that game, and multiples of just about everything. I don't have multiple Starhawks, and I don't have multiple Super Star Destroyers. I did win a Super Star Destroyer at a tournament, but at that point I already owned one. And so I won it, and I took it to my local store, and they accepted it as trade-in value. And I got 2 core sets for Star Wars Legion for the Clone Wars stuff, the original core sets for that. And that's how I officially started in Star Wars Legion, was winning an Armada tournament. That was the Michigan Grand Tournament that I won. That was a wild win too. We did 4 rounds, and I was sitting in like 4th place or something going into the final round. And I got paired up against someone who is local to me and who's very good at the game. And when we play each other, we always had this tendency to just draw our games. Like it was always draws. And I had lost one game. I was actually fighting against a Super Star Destroyer. I don't know. I always had a tough time killing Super Star Destroyers. But so I go up against this buddy of mine who we always draw against each other. I was like, all right, let's knock both of ourselves out of this tournament. And we played, and the dude went head on into me, and I just trashed him, like tabled him. I got a huge victory. It was like 9-2 tournament points. 10-1 is like the max you can get, but I got 9 points out of that. And it was a very quick game. Like 1 or 2 turns of closing, and then like 2 turns of gunfire, and the game was over. And it jumped me up in the first place, and I won the tournament. What was funny about that was the guys who ran the tournament, they had a podcast that was reasonably popular, but it was one of those awful, like, trying to act like Manosphere with like a really edgy name, and being offensive because it's cool kind of thing. But I did listen to their episode when they were talking about after that GT. And what's funny is one of the hosts was a guy who beat me and then ended up losing the tournament because my last round I got ahead of him. So he was the guy playing the Superstar Destroyer. And they were talking about their games, and that guy was so salty that I won the tournament. So salty. It felt really good. I was really happy about that. Just how that dude was whining that he didn't win his own tournament. Yeah, so I also got a trophy from them that I can't display in front of my family because it has like the very name of their podcast was using like foul language. And so like they're like, "Oh yeah, here's a set of a nice set of acrylic templates with our logo on it and our name." And I was like, "Cool, I don't want this." Like yeah. So they're doing a tourney in March? Oh, nice. Nice. I have so much going on in March. That sounds like fun. Just pick up some minis and go jump in. That's what I'm doing with Middle Earth at this point. I have a Middle Earth tournament in March. We're doing some practice games with Kill the Cam, and then we're just gonna the event raider. I didn't know why, but people do that. Also don't excuse themselves from pride. Support bothers me. I don't know if so there was like the podcast itself put on the tournament. Like, we're the ones who, quote unquote ran the tournament. There are like 5 dudes on the podcast. 4 of them competed in the tournament. One of the guys stepped back and was the TO, and I think he's kind of like the head dude of the podcast. So I don't know how the prize support would have worked if one of those guys won. Yeah, and that would have been, and I think part of his saltiness was he was in first. I played against a guy from my own group, and then I happened to win with enough points to win the tournament. So, in typical sore loser fashion, he was saying without saying it that we collaborated for me to win the tournament, which I have never done in my life, and is honestly pretty cruddy. But then it's also like, you accuse others of that, but then you played people on the podcast as part of your tournament day. Why couldn't you guys just collaborate and win? Like, it seems like thou doth protest too much. Like that's that's what it kind of seems like to me. It's like, well, we fixed it and we still lost, so I think they fixed it, Where have we heard that before? Had a lot of fun with X-Wing? Yeah, X-Wing really died out locally. Hold on just a second, guys. Hold on. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, sorry. My sinuses are going crazy. I'm trying to not sit here and sniff up a bunch of snot in front of everybody. Yeah, we had a really big X-Wing group in my area.
It's clean.
And then,
It's cold.
oh yeah, give me a little hydrate and stretch, sure. And I went really hard into Armada and was showing up on X-Wing night. And I'll tell you about that. Hold on. I'm quite proud of how I got this group going for Armada. You have to stay hydrated. Oh, yeah. Alright, good snap, crackle, and pop stretching. It's my old man stretches. But what I did with Armada was there was like 2 people local to me that I knew who played, and it was right when the game came out. I was in this game from like before day 1, like pre-ordered the core set, got into wave 1, and wave 2 took forever to release, and everybody laughed, and it was a joke through the whole life of that game that the game is dead, just because the second wave took like 8 months to come out or whatever. Well, before that second wave came out, FFG put on an event, that stores could sign up for, and they gave them one of each of the wave 2 ships as like basically prizes for the top placers in the tournament. And this was like a month or 2 before wave 2 stuff came out. Hey, Pat B, welcome in. So me and a buddy of mine were like, oh yeah, we should go win some free ships. That's gonna be really cool. So we practiced. I played Rebels, he played Empire, so it worked perfect. We practiced so hard, and this was like my first time like trying to win at an event for Armada. Like I was never like into it like that, but then, you know, we tried to win. Well, we practiced a bunch, and we're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna bring this. Here's what we're gonna do. Well, we show up. There was the guy running the tournament who ended up being a good friend of mine. We're still friends to this day. He's running the tournament, and it was just me and my buddy. We were the only 2 that showed up for the tournament. The only 2. And we were playing, when we were playing our first game, you know, our quote-unquote first game, people were coming into the store, and they're like, oh, that was today? Oh, well, I didn't even know. Dang. And then just, like, leaving. And so, RE9, what is RE9? What is that, Cody? What's going on, Cody? So what we did was we played a first round, and then we played a championship match, and the TO basically made a deal. He's like, hey, I haven't played Resident Evil since I was like 10, being scared out of my gourd playing Resident Evil 2. So on like PlayStation. Yeah. But no, that's cool. That's cool. So he made a deal with us. He said, hey, he's like, I just want the Rogues and Villains, the Squadron set with like all the bounty hunters and smugglers and stuff. He's like, I just want that set. And he was like, Painting Dad, you can have the Rebel ships, which was the MC-80, the home one, and it was the MiG-30, the MC-30. Oh, the torpedo frigate is my favorite, like one of my favorite ships in Star Wars. Such a cool ship. And then my buddy Wayne, he gave him the Empire stuff, which was the Star Destroyer, like the legit Imperial Star Destroyer, and then the Raider class Corvette. And yeah, so I would show up. It must have been when yeah, good luck Rage. Hopefully it's quick and cheap. It was when it was super lucky. Well, it must have been right when Wave 2 came out, because I ended up getting a couple Imperial Star Destroyers, and what I would do, I knew when my X-Wing night was at my local store, and it was essentially like, it was X-Wing night, but like Star Wars games, come and play Star Wars games. So I would show up with no one to play, and show up like right at 6 p.m. I would get a spot like in the corner on a table, and I would set up my cool space mat, and I would set up the Imperial Star Destroyer on one side with some other ships, and then I would set up the MC-80, the home one, on the other side with some other ships and squadrons, and I painted my squadrons and stuff just to show off the ships. And what happened was, every single night, at least like 2 or 3 people would come up and be like, dang, like that Star Destroyer is huge, that mini looks awesome, like, is this Armada? And half the people I'd end up playing a game with, like a little demo with, and most of those people would immediately go into the store and buy the minis, and then come back. They start coming back the next week, and they would be playing Armada. So within like 3 months, we literally pushed the X-Wing players out. We had more Armada players than X-Wing, and the X-Wing players found somewhere else to go. Like, they ended up going to a different store to play, and it ended up being Armada night. So we would have, you know, a dozen or more people in the back of our store playing Armada every week, and we had a big group. I kept that going. I think COVID was when I finally stopped going, but I was going a lot less frequently when my son was born, and that started to take away some of my time from there. But yeah, that game, some of my best gaming, like miniature gaming memories in Star Wars Armada. Just good stuff. What's going on, Zen? Star Laser, how you guys doing? Yeah, just everybody coming in. Yeah. So, good times. Love that game. And sorry to all the Shatterpoint players. I'm sure it'll come for MCP and Legion eventually. But I hope they succeed. I like Legion. I haven't played since they did like a big rules update. I haven't played that game in it's been like 3 or 4 years at this point, but you know, it's a game I want to succeed. It's a good IP to compete with GW, and their minis look great. So they used to be much more fairly priced. They have the pricing on Legion has gotten a bit out of hand quickly, but Zen, what you up to? I'm just gonna tell you guys, so Patreon, if you're part of the Patreon, you should be getting a new YouTube video this afternoon, maybe this evening. And I am I do make fun of Dark Angels, so there's a thing. But I am asking the question, or I guess explaining my point of why Thousand Suns have the best Legion detachment. So, remember if that Cad Bane I painted was for Star Wars Day, was for Shatterpoint or Legion? Oh yeah, I don't know. Cow trotting? Oh, okay. Work that busy, huh? Well, Zed, I do need to tell you, Painting Sun does not have school on Friday. Would you want to meet us at like a diner or something and get some breakfast? Cool. He's gonna have a friend over that afternoon, so I don't want to do anything like too crazy, but I think a diner would be really fun. Man, it's not even noon yet. Nice. We're still just on one color though, but these are big color. I'm excited to paint the swords on these guys. I'm hoping I can finish them. I have to prime the Zeratul mini. We're doing a giveaway tomorrow, guys. So if you're a fan of StarCraft or StarCraft the miniature game, I am giving away Zeratul. I'm going to paint him and give him away. I don't know if Velios is here. I know Velios is a huge fan of StarCraft. So tempted by that game. I want to watch Battle Report. I'll be honest, I never played StarCraft. With all the RTS gaming I did throughout my whole life, I completely missed StarCraft. The art style for the miniatures does not appeal to me. However, this dude does look really cool. This is Zeratul, so he looks good. So I like this mini a lot, and I would be totally happy to paint this mini and keep it. I'm excited to paint it. The color palette on this mini is really good. I'm going to try to paint them a lot like the box art and everything. But I'm going to paint this and I'm going to give it away. So, I can give it away now. But yeah, I'm excited to paint it. Gotta do that. Local actually, Serves Baram, is that his screen name in Twitch? I think he's Chandler in the Discord. He was actually very generous. He gave me one. He ordered a couple of them, and he gave me one to choose what I do. And so, yeah, Velios, that's fair. It's pretty on point. It is, yeah. I think that game art, it works well for an RTS, especially an old one, because, you know, with the kind of graphics they could achieve, you need to have very exaggerated proportions, right? And what Warcraft and StarCraft did was they completely kept that art style going forward, even as like graphics improved and everything. I don't think they necessarily needed to, but I get it. You know, they have their style and they stuck with it, which is totally cool. Yeah, I don't think it translates as well into a miniature game. However, the gameplay seems interesting, and the minis look technically really well done. So, yeah, the gameplay plays like an RTS, which I think is cool. Like, you put down buildings and you bring units on the battlefield, like, mid-game and stuff. I think that's really neat. So, I'm curious to see how it plays. And, you know, if someone local to me wants to put me through a learning game and you know, or do something like that, I'm not going to turn it down. Being into Brood War, yeah. You guys remember when video game trailers were like the coolest cinematics ever? I don't know if there are rules PDFs anywhere. I don't know. I think the full game release is at Adepticon, so end of March. And I think there may be some content creators around that are showing off the game and stuff. I found a video of someone that's like, I played a game and here are my impressions, and it was like a 20-minute video just talking over photos. And it wasn't quite what I was looking for, so I listened to a few minutes. I was like, okay, like I'll wait until there's something a little more comprehensive. But screen there, take, but I'm by. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We all have things like that. I remember when, like, I played Warcraft 2 a bunch when I was a kid on PlayStation. Yeah, I think it was Warcraft 2 on PlayStation 1, not 2. And it's just sitting and waiting a while, lame. But I remember when I had a friend who got really into World of Warcraft, and I remember watching him play once, and I was like, man, this game looks so goofy. Like, the art style's whack, everything's over exaggerated. He was like, yeah, look at this cool armor. I was like, that looks awful. And then he let me play it, create a character and play it for a little bit, and I swear it was like, yeah, it was like the, you know, the first cigarette, and then, yeah, World of Warcraft, yeah, And then I could not put that game down for like 2 years. It was crazy. And then I was the guy, look at this armor, this looks so awesome. And you go back and look at it, you're like, ugh. But yeah, it's a setting that interests you. Like, right, you're gonna enjoy the stuff. The minis look like, in general, the minis for StarCraft look like they're gonna take forever to paint. Maybe I need to look at some more close-ups, but the minis are much more detailed. Yeah, it was for the best, Raja. Yeah. You played RuneScape. Oh, cool. Alright. Loved going to the Molten Core. Yeah, I played Burning Crusade and was it Wrath of the Witch King? Is that what it was? Wrath of the Lich King or Witch King? I can't remember which one it was, but let's get those mixed up. But I played those. And yeah, the PvE content, their rating and stuff was definitely the things I enjoyed the most. Lich King. Okay. Didn't like WoW, honestly. Used to MMOs, the click targeting threw me off. Navigate my spells in melee, go the direction. Yeah, that's fair. Partner plays a lot of Final Fantasy. Is that 14? Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, it was definitely like a different setup, right? Because you're used to, playing games in a certain way, and you're like, oh, I just push the button on the timing, and the thing happens, right? With WoW, and that became like the standard for MMOs for a long time. Which was probably my biggest gripe with like Star Wars: The Old Republic, because I played that game a lot. And I didn't like how it was, like you don't aim your weapon, you just click on the dude and your weapon attacks him. Yeah. 14 is the MMO. Okay. Final Fantasy America. I never played a Final Fantasy game either, so. That's over there. I just looked at him like, what? I was so busy. These action RPGs, you're missing out. I'm not like a huge I think I had like a narrow window in my life where I was like, man, I love like RPGs as like a video game genre. But like I would play I played what, like Dragon Age Origins, Knights of the Old Republic, the Fallout kind of counts as an RPG, I guess, a little bit. So, like, Fallout 3 at the time. Yeah, I'd play MMOs, but like that was kind of it. I played Divinity Original Sin. I really like that game. That's probably the closest I'll get to like really in-depth style of game like that. Yeah, I'm also like, I know Final Fantasy seems it's much more of like an anime bent, and I could be completely wrong about that, but just from like the outside looking in, and I'm really not like an anime fan. So when I see that game, I see like anime, and it just doesn't have like the art appeal to me. I'm sure they play amazing though. I know those are like Final Fantasy is like one of the top game franchises. Shiny Mew, what's going on? How are you doing? Alright, let's get the front, kind of the top of his chest and his head. We'll have that guy done. Maybe we'll just spend the whole day on this one color. Yeah, so I played a game of Heresy last night. I played with my 1,000 Suns. I think I was saying earlier, if you are following the YouTube videos, I made a yeah, the gameplay, that's fair, Bailey. That's fair. If you follow my YouTube series, I made the list in the last video as part of like a thought exercise for like how I build army lists and stuff. So I made that list, and then we tried the new missions. Played Final Fantasy. Did you know the critically acclaimed MMORPG can be played with expanded free trial? Okay, all right. Triggs, did you just post an AI comment? Is that what that is? Good. A North video game called Splatoon 3. I've heard of Splatoon. Honestly, didn't know they had 3 of them. But so we tried the new missions from the new Journal Tactica, which are the Relic Hunt missions. I like them. I like them a lot, and I have opinions I'm gonna give. I'll talk about the actual missions themselves, but is that okay? Okay. Dang. See, it shows you how little I know about Final Fantasy. I don't even get like the joke about it. So I made, it was a 3,000 point game. I played against Mechanicum, so it was appropriate we were playing the Relic Hunt mission. And my list theme, it was like an expedition. Like Magnus sent a group, or I guess like a strike cruiser worth of 1,000 Suns to go hunt down like valuable pieces of, technology or like esoteric things. And so I tried to base my list off of like my whole mindset was like, I had like the Lost World, Jurassic Park, like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Man, what's that like, the Atlantis movie? What was that old Disney movie? Like the crazy, like adventuring party kind of thing. So my characters in my list that were, ultimately not great. You had like a librarian, a sorcerer. I ended up with I had a numerologist. That's like, the guy looking at Atlantis. Yeah. I had a lot of troops and rhinos. I didn't take any Terminators. Nothing slow, so no artillery, no dreadnoughts, no Terminators, and I figured the valuable like Terminators and stuff would be left for the main fighting force and not for, this little expedition. My one regret with this list, which it was part of like a video exercise, so I guess I wouldn't have done this anyway, but I feel like if I were doing side quests as an army, then I would have a lot more auxilia. So I should have brought a lot of auxiliaries. as a project. But yeah, I took the tanks I took were my Sicarans, my 3 Sicarans, so like fast tanks. I had a jet and bikes and jump troops and recon marines, so it was a lot of stuff. My army was huge. Automod didn't believe me for thinking I was bullying. Oh, did it? Oh, okay. Is that my Automod? No. Plan on giving the Relic Hunt missions a shot here soon. Thinking of building combined arms for Spire Guard and Thousand Suns. Yeah. Veritech, that I think next time I do it, that's what I'm going to do, just for the pure theme of it. The Relic Hunt missions are fun. We played the first one. They're 5-turn missions, so anyone complaining that Heresy missions are only 4 turns, they don't have to be. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. The other thing is, to capture objectives, you have to pass intelligence tests. So it's naturally advantageous for the Mechanicum, but Mechanicum don't have a ton of scoring units. So there's some balance in that, where Marines can get more bodies on objectives and will take the objectives if they're close, but they're not going to pass the intelligence test. And my experience was, I rolled the worst intelligence testing period than I have ever rolled in a game of Warhammer. It was wild. Like, it's just a leadership check. You know, so 2d6 get equal to or under the number. My leadership was like 8 or 9 on all my units, my intelligence stat. I was failing them. I probably failed 75% of them the first 3 turns. Which is crazy. I should be passing like 92% of them, I think, are what the odds are. And I was... Oh, gotcha, Shiny Mew. Okay. So I kept failing. And one of the fun things about one of those missions is if you fail and roll a double, so you're like boxcars, you take a whole crap ton of hits. And your units just get like massacred. Yeah, so I lost 13 or 14 Marines just to rolling like boxcars, taking intelligence tests. And we were laughing about it. You know, my opponent were laughing about it, and I was like, I have never had such bad luck. Or he would shoot at a unit and I would fail 75% of my armor saves on, 3-up armor saves. I had one moment where I had a Praetor and he had his like Archmagos, and I was like, you know what, I have some incidental shooting. I'm gonna take some pistol shots into his Archmagos and shoot something else. He returned fire with a Volkite Serpenta. So it was a pistol, a 2-shot Volkite pistol. My Praetor had 3 wounds and a 2-up save. So I'm like, cool, no big deal. So I shot at him, and I didn't do any wounds to him. It was fine. He shoots back. He gets a crit hit on one, and then a wound with the other shot. So 2 armor saves. The crit hit will do 2 damage if it fails. I rolled Snake Eyes for my armor saves, and it killed my Praetor, just like that. Just on a return fire from a Volkite pistol.
First of all,
killed my Praetor. I was like, there's no way. I've never had such horrid luck in a game. What was funny though, hey, welcome in. Benator, welcome. What did end up working in my favor was, while I was getting completely massacred, I still outnumbered my opponent like 5-1, because he had giant robots and I did not. I swarmed with infantry, like mechanized infantry. So yeah, I jumped on objectives. And while I was melting my own face trying to get these objectives, I was still getting objectives, and I kind of stuffed my opponent in his deployment zone. And so the sacrifice of the Thousand Suns just dying gave me the time to get the lead on objectives. And I think it was my turn 3 or turn 4. I ended up grabbing 4 objectives, and I got like 18 points. Or it was like 12 points in one turn or something. It was a ton of points I got in a single turn. And at that point, it just kind of was like a runaway for me. So I ended up winning the game. I won the game. And I think the final score, we ended up not tallying secondaries. There are only 2 secondaries. There's like kill more units than your opponent, and there was activate more objectives than your opponent. Because the relic missions, you have to activate them every turn you want to capture them, and they like deactivate at the end of the turn, which is really cool. But he only activated, I think, 1 or 2 objectives the whole game. I had activated, it was like 8 or 9 by the end of the game. And so I got that, but he killed more units than me, so he got 2 points from that. I think the final tally was 13 points to 36, just because I was able to run away with the objectives. So on paper, it looked like a blowout victory. But for the first 3 turns of that game, I had nothing going my way, except for positioning. Man, I failed so many armor saves. I failed a lot of psychic tests too, which is, you plan for it, especially as Thousand Suns. Like, you're gonna fail some psychic tests, but just a lot of failures. That's why these guys were sent off to do the missions that Magnus didn't want them close to the rest of the army because they were a bunch of failures, basically. It was a really good time. It's a fun game. Did Solar Ox practice? We didn't get a chance to save sometimes, yeah. See, the difference is, with Solar Ox and Militia, you expect not to have the save, and you're not paying for the save, right? With the Space Marines, you're paying the points for 2/3 of your dude to live. And then when you pass 1/3 of your saves, it feels bad. This was my experience with Star Wars Legion. Star Wars Legion, there's 2 different defense dice, and your troops, depending on their armor type, they had a different defense die. And there's the white dice that had a 1 in 6 chance of passing, and there's the red die that was a 50-50 chance of passing. And I always preferred white dice save troops, so like your B1 battle droids and the rebel troopers, because if you're not paying for the save, and like a bad roll on the dice is not the end of the world. That's just part of what they do. Like, they die when they get shot. Okay, so don't get shot. Whereas if you're bringing stormtroopers or clone troopers, they're red save troops that have, they have heavy armor. You should have a 50-50 chance to save. But then one bad roll and your clone trooper squad's dead, and you're like, why did I pay for this armor? So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it feels like you make more white saves than red saves. So, yeah, yep. There you go. Legion players know. It's a good lesson, though, in the cost of units and what you're paying for. It's a really good lesson to learn on managing your expectations when you play these games. Literally with my commando droids, yeah. Yeah, can't take a punch. Yeah, I remember playing a game where I had Count Dooku with deflect up, So he had essentially a 3-up save, and just failing, was it 5 or 6 saves in a row and dying to one round of like mediocre shooting, and just losing my 200-point commander in a single round of shooting. It was miserable. Yeah, 6 wounds, 6 go through, and that was it. Like, oh yeah, hey, don't worry about the typos, dude. Veritech, I type like a toddler, especially in like stream chats and stuff, so I don't expect anything more from anybody else. So my rolling is just bad, so every death feels bad. Yeah, the odds are 10 will die. I lose an average of 8. Yeah, my armor saves are bad too. I have good luck other places, but oh yeah, I got the Solar Ox joining me on the table today. Look at them. Look at the cute little sergeant. Great stuff. So, yeah, illegible. Yeah. I type like a toddler, dude. Yeah, with Grievous. Yeah. Just get wrecked. But those moments when you have like Obi-Wan Kenobi with his like easy deflect and he just tanks like the whole army shooting and just kills like 8 models, it feels good. And the early clone trooper rules where they just shared all their tokens. And my favorite, I got a guy. I was playing against a droid player, and I had Captain Rex. I loved Captain Rex. I don't know if he's any good anymore, but he would pull the standby tokens from friendly troopers, and so you just get a bunch of standby actions, and then he would just double pistol everybody. And I remember just wrecking a droid army from Captain Rex standing in the open while the guy was trying to kill him, and I just returned fire and just start killing everything. It was so good. Just borrowing tokens from all the units around him. He just tanks the whole enemy shooting. That was great. They have since toned down the clone rules, but earlier I forgot to tell you about Solar Ox were complimented in both my games on the Zone Mortalis Day. Awkward 30s when I awkward 30 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. Yay, so my Solar Ox were complimented. Your Solar Ox color scheme's great though. I think, whenever you want to stop painting whatever it is you're painting now and you decide to start painting your Solar Ox, you're gonna look amazing. Obi-Wan is both baller and bad, really. Sometimes it feels great, other times he just gets blasted. Yeah. Cody have been the two I've most been able to deal with. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I know Obi-Wan wasn't like the best for a while when he came out. But yeah, he's just super defensive, which I do love. I love the commanders that are a support piece. So like the droids were my main faction, playing through Legion most of the time, and I loved the super tactical droids because like they're trash on their own, but the fact they make your whole army so much better, and that's my kind of playstyle I like. I like the force multipliers. Yeah, defensive Obi-Wan is very thematic, yeah. It's always in Legion, too. Or, not Legion, Armada. As an Admiral. .500 nades are progressing, yeah. I will check out that painting competition for next month and maybe join in. If they do it next month, I understand like if there's like nobody jumping and they're not going to do it, but SNES setup, nice. Issues booting up. Okay, good luck. Look up Demon Prince printing at home. Looks like no failure so far. Nice, Shriggs, nice. I have a couple of Predators. I could show you Veritech here. I'll show you guys. I brought this on stream the other day to show someone who never popped into the stream, but they wanted to see my Saber Tank. So this is my Saber Tank with this giant base. But it is 332nd themed. You can see it's like Ahsoka, which is cool. I love it. And the clone has got the helmet and everything. Yeah, huge fan. This color is just the is it Gryph-hound Orange contrast, I think is what this is. But this is my Saber Tank. I never painted the base. The base just stayed gray on purpose. And I believe this guy is replaceable. It's the front gun that's replaceable. That's replaceable. I can get the little beam in there if I want, but it'll rotate. So, yeah. I painted all my clones with that color scheme. And that was before Season 7 came out. I painted those when it was just like, you would watch the special feature. Like, you would dig up videos on YouTube about... with Dave Filoni talking about the Siege of Mandalore, and they would show the artwork of like the clones with their painted armor, where they painted their helmets to mimic Ahsoka, and he'd talk about how they were planning on doing the Siege of Mandalore, and they had all these ideas, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing. My clones are gonna be that. And then as I'm painting them, like Season 7 comes out, and like everybody paints them like that. I was like, dang it. I wanted to be a hipster. I wanted to do it before it was cool. Yeah, we are doing Hangout tonight. Yeah, it might be you and me for a little bit, Zen. Competition creator said she would love to eventually do so, but wanted to focus on the local painters first. Okay. For defense, the local money performs poorly. It's not the fault of the players half the time, just dice. Yeah. Obi-Wan and Padme? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Gundam tournament. Okay, that's fair. Dude, maybe I'll just start it late. How about I just plan on getting on at like 9 p.m. and if people get on, that'll be cool. It gives me some time to chill, some quiet, because I've been super busy lately. Yeah, guys, if you want to come hang out, join our Patreon hangout, just any paid member of the Patreon. We do a Wednesday night voice chat just in Discord. And just, I don't know, it's a good time to, like, we just all kind of talk about our week. We share some funny stories or talk about random things. And a lot of times we're just hobbying or doing whatever mundane things. Those in Europe are just waking up, joining us, or just up way too late. But it's a fun time. I do enjoy Wednesday nights a lot. Okay. Let's get his half here. Gundam tournament on Wednesday night. That's not your local store then, is it? You run D&D at your local store on Wednesdays? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I know not everybody's going to be able to make it. When I started doing the Hangout, I tried some different times, and Wednesday always seemed like the best time, but we're normally on pretty late, at least as far as my time zone goes. So we're typically on till between like 10:30 and 11 p.m. Eastern. Just chilling. I'll normally start around 8:30 p.m. So just a couple hours to hang out. Group of kids that are regulars at your table. Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's funny. They made Breaking Bad jokes. Oh, so it's like a Breaking Bad reference? Oh my gosh. So, just a joke saying I was going to finish these today. Definitely not happening. I'm going to try to finish the highlights here. Let's have two more to go here, and then we'll get started on a different color. I need to change my orange on these minis. I got to start with bright orange on the inside, and then I work out to a darker orange. So we'll get a coat of, we'll do that next after I finish this. Silver, black, brown, some skin highlights. Yeah, not too much more. You seen the new datasheet for the Votann? Yeah, so the datasheet, the new Votann mini. I gotta be honest, guys. The new Votann guy looks cool. It's just Gotrek. It's 40k Gotrek, right? Am I crazy in seeing that? He hits as hard as Angron with his special super magical axe hammer. And he's a berserker. Like, that's hands down 40k. We have Gotrek at home. His rules seem really good though. It seems like GW is doing their typical end of the edition, make a ton of super powerful characters so people buy them real quick, and then they'll worry about their balance in the next edition. Yeah, I actually like the mini though. Him holding the head, and he's got like his weapon looks cool, and yeah. I'm almost positive I will be painting that mini at some point in the near future. Yeah, he gives Berserkers sustained hits too. I think with his rule also, he gets sustained hits no matter what with that rule. Because it's not just if he's leading a unit, it's just he gets sustained hits. So he always gets sustained hits. And then, yeah, I'll paint it for you. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Blue. I imagine I'll paint it for this client too. But that doesn't seem like a model I would mind painting twice. And painting them different both times would be cool. Great game to fix it. Remember, we've heard you. We've taken a look at the rules. There's no war bossing set. Yeah. Yep. Gets extra hits from punching with his other hand. Yeah, yeah. So he punches and throws hammers at people. Natural progression, befriend fairies, get recipe in their tavern that required sugar. Fairies work the sugar and chaos. Gosh. Yeah, the Tau models they previewed on Monday look ridiculous. The Twin Lance or whatever. They look pretty insane. How models rule? Does it state your fight phase or once per turn? They just get an extra 12. Yeah, yeah. It's just so like blasted with typos that they just do whatever they want. Yeah, I think we're at the point in the rules where everything is just going to be absolutely broken and look way too good, and the game balance is going out the window for the past few months, or for the next few months, because 11th edition is coming. That's how 9th was. 9th had a really good balance going into that last year, and then they released the what was the goofy t-shirt cannon guys, and then the new guard codex came out and was completely broken. There was Lionel Johnson was completely broken. Angron was completely broken. Like, all that stuff just didn't work in the game anymore, and the game just went to garbage for the last few months. Yeah, the Desolators. Ugh. They sold so many Desolators. My poor local store, those minis, so many people ordered those minis, and then 10th edition came out. They were still really good, but people kept ordering them, and then all of a sudden they got nerfed into the ground. And my local store all of a sudden had like 6 or 7 boxes of them on the shelf, and they were there for like several years. Just, I don't know, people ordering Desolators and then canceling their orders or something. Or the store trying to anticipate what people were going to buy. Pretty crappy to do that. I have canceled an order on my LGS one time. It was a book I was getting, like a campaign book or something. I can't remember. I think it was a campaign book. And I ordered the book, and it came in. I can't remember what happened. Someone gave me one or something. There was some kind of situation with it. And what I ended up doing was I went on Discord and I messaged people and said, hey, were you going to buy a copy of this book, and have you ordered it yet? And someone told me no, but they wanted the book. And so so I told the store to hold it for that person, and they went and grabbed it instead. So I didn't have to feel bad about canceling my order because someone went and bought it anyway. Remember when Guard came out at the end of 9th? Never bought the codex since the end of edition. Yeah, I got it for $5 when 10th came out. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Okay. Upper body is done. Let's get the lower body here. Got the Drukari. Yes, yeah. Actually, what's funny is Evelios. There is a guy who comes in the stream on Sunday nights, and he came in. He works for, I don't know, a distributor or something. I'm not sure where he works, but he told us about the recall, and he told us before. I feel like before just about anybody else got wind of it, because it was a big news on like Monday morning and afternoon, and we're sitting here on Sunday night. Like, that's crazy. They're recalling stuff. He said they were told to destroy it or dispose of everything, and what he was planning on doing was taking those boxes and donating them to a local school club. So there's a local high school out there that's about to be inundated in Drukari, and I say good for them. How do I join that school for free model? Yeah, exactly, yeah. I told my son about that, and he's like, you can play Warhammer at school? And I was like, well, when you're in high school, there's, clubs that can be made. So the company will send you guys free stuff. Look at me! Tire isn't patchable. Oh, that stinks. Okay, it's under warranty. Okay. Dang. Whip with question? Okay, alright. I'll get you in just a moment. Let me finish up this this mini, and I'll jump in, okay? Yeah, dude. Yeah, just show up to the school. I swear I'm not here to do anything nefarious. I just want free Warhammer. Was talking about a bit. He wasn't sure what to be doing with them just yet. I'm expecting a bunch of used models in the case soon. Yeah. Watch Drukari become one of the most popular armies because people just get a bunch of minis for free. All of a sudden, everybody's playing them. Another succubus. Yeah. Yeah. No suspicion at all. Yeah. I have a couple of the, it's my story about the succubus I haven't told in probably a year or two, but the succubus model was the first Finecast model I ever ordered. And it was right when Finecast came out, like 2011, 2012. And it was a joke from the start, with how poor the quality of Finecast was. Alright, well, let's take a look at my journals mini. I'll continue my story here. Let's see. Go here. Oh, do you have me on in the background, dude? Are you talking? Are you talking on video here? So, oh no, that's me talking in the background. Dang, I don't want to hear that. Nice. Okay. A little Pestigore here. Highlights on the flesh. Highlights looking good. I think you can go one more step up. I think you do one more step up. I think the purple highlights are good. Yeah, I think the that's just the base of Agrax. Yeah. I think a good like brighter color just to bring out some of the highlights. I think you'll be good. You'll be good on the flesh. Yes, so I ordered a succubus as my test of like, let's see what fine cast is like. So I bought the succubus mini. Bring back the mid with the original. Did you mix the OG with something like what, lighter brown? Ivory's not bad. I feel like you have more control with ivory, just a little bit of ivory, and you go in. And yeah, IRL, yeah, McMedic, yeah, just a real life, real succubus. No, I think you're on point there. Yeah, start with your original base color, and then if you feel like it needs a little bit more, just a tiny bit of like ivory in there, and then yeah, hit some of those really raised edges. It's like out in the open places. So it was a dark Eldar succubus mini. All right, McMedic. All right. Wanted to see the process. I get the mini. You know, they come on little frames, the Finecast minis. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. One of the weapons wasn't even formed the whole way. It was like missing the whole middle of it. There were air bubbles everywhere, mold slippage, like it was terrible. So I messaged the company and I said, hey, here's a bunch of issues. Here's a picture. Like, this is no good. So they sent me another one. Well, I get the other one. It was in pretty similar shape. It was terrible. I messaged them again. Hey, replacement had issues, like too many issues. I can't, like, there's weapon pieces missing because it didn't fully form. So they sent me another one. You know, kudos to the customer service team sending me multiple copies. Next one came and like it was a little better. There were some other weapons that were usable, but it still wasn't a whole mini. And I was like, I'm gonna keep messaging them until I get a whole decent mini. So they sent me another one. In total, they sent me 5 succubus minis before I was happy with the sculpt, and they just kept sending them. I would send them a picture of the mini, and they would send me a new one. I was able to make a couple succubus minis out of the bodies that you get, and then adding like plastic weapons, because a lot of the Dark Eldar minis are interchangeable with their arms and everything. Yeah, it took them 5 tries to get that mini right. That's how bad Finecast was, especially when it started. It's still horrible. But yeah, just casual 5 succubus minis. But you used to be able to give succubus models different weapons. Now they just come with like a succubus weapon or something is what they call it. So it doesn't matter what you model with it. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's lots of kit bash stuff though. It's just like none of the weapons were usable. I think I ended up having one spear that was usable, but that was it out of the 5. That was the big problem, was like the blade on the spear kept being cast. It was so thin that it was just non-existent in some places. It would look like a piece of like flash, and like where you could see through it because the plastic was so thin. And it would just crumble. Yeah. I think everybody knew when that came around, when they announced Finecast, it was... This is Games Workshop's like move to go all plastic. And at the time, tin was getting a lot more expensive, or like aluminum. One of the materials to make tin was getting much more expensive, and the shipping weight was an issue. So they moved to Finecast as a temporary solution, and it was awful. It's taken 15 years at this point to get almost there, which frankly I think is about 10 years longer than anybody thought it would take. They just keep coming out with new models instead of replacing the Finecast ones first. But they're doing it. They're doing it. When was the last Forge World Resin mini to be previewed? I don't think Forge World's doing minis anymore. Not new minis. The last one released was Angron and Latara Seren, but they were announced last February. But I think GW might be all plastic announcements. No, the Necromunda stuff that came out, that last wave with the big vampire dude, that was all plastic. Cathay, everything Cathay has been plastic. There's no resin Cathay minis. I don't think Angron was the last announced. The last announced Heresy mini was the Iron Warriors Warsmith, which was like a month after Angron was announced. But Angron definitely was he was one of the last announced. So at some point last year, they just stopped. It had to be something Necromunda or Blood Bowl, I imagine. But I think all the Blood Bowl stuff so far has been plastic, right? And if we look at, there's nothing, because AOS and 40k is all plastic. The Kalidor Dragons is the only Blood Bowl thing up, and I think that's a plastic kit. All plastic for Heresy. The Old World is just Cathay, so that's all plastic. Did I not update the set with... Oh, no, I did. Okay. And then Underworld's plastic. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. The Astrius. The big marine tank. That may have been the last resin mini for 40k. Yeah. Back to lurk for another... Alright, Mindro. Thanks, man. Thanks for chilling. Enjoy your meeting. Yeah, so I like having everything in plastic. To me, having minis only online on the GW store is restrictive, and I don't like it. I like having the options for all the little knickknacks, and I have loved the second edition characters they've come out with. That the Prospering Sorcerer that came out the Librarian console is one of my favorite minis of my collection, period. Incredible mini. But they're going to be coming out with Legion specific plastics, and when that starts, just like a whole plastic box of upgrade fodder for your Legion is going to be wild. That's going to be better than any resin kit they could come out with. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm hoping Adepticon is an announcement for the first thing, but I also hope that Adepticon, they do more than just announce Legion plastics. I hope it's a well, I mean, they need the next journal also, but I hope there's Solar Rocks. Solar Rocks are in need of another expansion, another wave. Mechanicums had theirs, Custodes are getting theirs, Marines have had their 6, their equal attention releases. I think Solar Ox needs their Ogren and their other Velatari and some tanks. Some, were they Carnodons? Is that what they're called? Yeah. That'd be a good wave. Maybe a jet. Give me some... Oh, man. I'm going to be talking... I had a bit of a revelation making my next video. We're working on it. And realizing how much better the Thousand Suns detachment is than even I thought before. I even thought it was the best one before, and now I think it's even better. The thing that holds their detachment back, if anything, is that all the fast attack options are basically resin. The only plastic fast attack is the Scimitar jet bikes, which are terrible. And everything else in that unit type is incredible, but there's no plastic minis and no one plays them. Yeah, you want Ogren, so the next release will be Dark Mech. Yeah. I think, so unfortunately, Avelios, I think Solar Ox are probably the least selling Heresy faction, but I do think, and I hope GW realizes this, that Solar Aux need 1 or 2 more waves, and they are like set for plastics. Aside from like, you know, super heavy or new units, which they could easily create. Yeah, they cost too much money. And I think their look is not quite as unique as Mechanicum. The Mechanicum are just wild looking. Like, they're far and beyond anything you find in 40k. And the Solar Aux are amazing looking, but they're just not like... They don't have that same appeal. Just think about last night when I watched that video. I'd love a Xiphon or Fire Raptor. Yeah. I want a Fire Raptor or a Storm Eagle really bad. And I think those will be plastic one day, but... That's going to be good. Yeah. Give me some fast attack choices. They're just dudes. Yeah. At least give you orcs. Yeah, I think whenever they get Ogryn and some more units, I think they'll be fine. And yeah, the salt just giving you orcs, it's the compromise. Yeah, I think the money to run an army, the amount of painting you do for the infantry. I also think the infantry is a little bit monopose, a little bit too monopose. I know their resins had like kneeling dudes and running guys, and they have a lot more variety to them, which I think helped their style a little bit. That'd be nice if we got some stuff like that, but yeah, they really don't need much. UW just needs to make it happen. Just say, hey, look, this army's complete, and then you do like a random journal drop for Solar Aux. And give them like some new units or something, like assault infantry with shotguns or something crazy like that. No, you're good. That's all you gotta do. We got arms, we got shoulders, we got top and bottom. We are done with that color. Yeah, and Mechanicum still have 1,000 units that need to come out. Space Marines do not have 1,000 units that need to come out. They are closing in on being fully plastic. GW definitely slowed that process by releasing a bunch of new units in 3rd, but they are they're getting there. Recon and fast attack are the ones that are missing the most. I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I agree with both you guys. I think having more infantry poses would be great. I think the way to do that, the way I would see GW doing this, not that this is necessarily the most consumer-friendly way, but the way I think GW will do it is they will release, let's say Astartes, they'll release a recon box. And the recon box will have power armored Marines, but there will be kneeling and like, and I don't know, maybe running poses, and it'll be like 5 or 10 Marines with like 5 totally new poses, but they're just dudes in power armor. And so like the bodies might be the exact same power armor, but then like the helmets will be different, and they'll have different, I don't know about different backpacks, but add-ons for backpacks and cool extra things you can put on them. But then you can take those models and you can do like you do with the Assault Marines and stuff, where you can mix and match. So you want different poses. You have bolter guys that are like, you put the bolters on the Recon Marines, You know, and you don't put all the extra little gubbins on them, and you get like new poses for tactical marines. I can see GW doing that. And I can see them doing the same with the Solar Auxilia, where they come out with a new infantry set. It's dudes in the same armor, but yeah, it'll be like a support squad of guys with grenade launchers or guys with sniper rifles or something of that manner. And it has like kneeling poses and yeah, like those different poses. And they maybe won't outright say that that's what you can do, but we're all going to look at that set and like, yeah, I'm giving those dudes las rifles or whatever. Ironclad Flint, what's going on? Or Flint, sorry, not Fint. That's a drug. What's going on? Give me snipers. Yeah, snipers are cool. I'm painting some Votann right now. Painting some Steeljacks. We got a 2 of the new artillery minis and a I keep wanting to call it a frog. The new little floating transport. Capricus, that's what it is. Working on AdMech, very nice. You get all the new stuff? Haven't gotten anything since the Votann release box, yeah. The newer minis look cool. I like some of the direction they're going with Votann. It is not the most interesting army to me, but I like what they've added. It's cool that a new army is getting some more waves and stuff. So, Imperial Knight allies. What do you think of the new knight they just announced? The Destrier. The Destroyer, but spelled differently. Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah, it's got cool helmets. I love the look of the Knight Lancer and stuff, like the Heresy era Knights. So, this one, that one, it works for me. Checks the boxes. Like Rock and Stone and whatnot. I kind of agree. I agree, Blue. My original thought for Votann would not have been the style they chose. They went like really retro futuristic, and I think just more like if they went more like low to the ground, heavy angles, not anti-grav stuff, like, you know, dwarves are, they're just dirty but functional. I think of what I think of when I'm obviously, you know, dwarves and such. I think of have you guys ever seen, there's like special features for like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and an interesting special feature when they talk about The Hobbit were the 13 actors that played the dwarves and how they had to learn how to run like dwarves and move like dwarves. That was like a big part of their like pre-production. And one of the things they talk about is how dwarves are always low to the ground. Like, you don't lift your feet when you run, and you take heavy footsteps, and you know, everything you do, it's like when you're fighting, you're always, you know, you're smaller than your enemies, so you keep that in mind. And like I think that's a really good attitude when you think of dwarves. Like, you really lean into that idea that, yeah, they deal with the earth, and their whole like mentality is mining and working with the earth. And okay, Guardian, what's up? You have a World Eaters army, sweet. World Eaters are really cool in Heresy, very nice. What you got going on with World Eaters? I'm a huge Horus Heresy fan. I have a giant Thousand Suns army. So I have over 10,000 points of painted Thousand Suns. And then I have another 5,000 points of various auxiliaries and militia that go with them. Ooh, they're loyalist. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you get that. You get that pizza. Yeah, bomber sprint scene. Yeah. But you just watch the dwarves in that movie. The actors that played the dwarves did a great job. You know, regardless of the weird Weinstein Warner Brothers intervention on that movie, and how that movie was just ruined by 6,000 different things. But the actors that played the dwarves were all fantastic at what they were supposed to be doing. I'm going to buy a Horus Heresy models. Currently painting a little Horus. Yeah, a little Horus Axeman, nice. The new Custodes look really good. I am also tempted by the new Custodes, which I never thought I would be saying. Because boy, do I hate Custodes. You got some solar that you're gonna print? Sweet. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go through to a second coat on this orange, and that'll be kind of the bright orange we start with. Use your voucher, last year little Horus. Oh, cool. Alright. Be nice. I mean, I do hate Custodes, but also Rasia, I might be buying Custodes, so. And if I get Custodes, I'm gonna play Custodes, so. I guess part of my... I have this, like, image in my head of a direction I want to eventually go with my collection. And something I would love to do would be able to play The Burning of Prospero as a huge Apocalypse game. And that requires a couple things. One, a ton of Thousand Suns minis, and a ton of auxiliaries for the Thousand Suns minis to help them out. Two, that requires a lot of Custodes and Sisters of Battle, because they were all present. And three, that requires somehow convincing someone or myself to collect some Space Wolves that I can kill. So, yeah, yep. Trying to convince my buddies, probably lurking in stream. If you are Killicam, you gotta do it. I'll help you so much. Trying to convince him to actually, like, kind of collect, or at least keep a collection of Space Wolves that I'd help him paint. And then we could just live the dream of playing out The Burning of Prospero. I still dislike Custodians. They just feel bad as an army. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But man, those new minis look good. Alright, Blue. Well, I'm glad you were able to get on Twitch today. That's awesome. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe grabbing a few from the used bin to oversee my loyalist portion. Just captain some sisters. Okay, oh, that's cool. Putting Sisters of Battle near the Thousand Suns is serious disrespect. I'm getting a Warlord, so you can have one sorcerer who's controlling it during the battle. I mean, if I were to take this whole idea to fruition, then absolutely a Warlord would be part of the plan. I might have to start with a plastic Warhound Titan, if and when that comes, but yeah. Find out some kind of rules for a Warlord Titan to throw fireballs out of its hand would be incredible. For anyone who hasn't read A Thousand Suns, that's something a Thousand Suns dude does on Prospero. And he just starts wrecking, absolutely wrecking the Space Wolves until he literally burns out. Like, yeah. Like catches fire himself and is consumed by it. But, you know, if that isn't a Thousand Suns thing to do, I don't know what is. 3D print a Warlord to have it represented, that'd be cool. Yeah. I have my resin printer, and I do not want to print something as big as a Warlord on resin. Space pandas would own these so-called space wolves. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Wasn't there a series of movies about that? Pandas beating up other animals. Also, you think that 11th will get back to being able to add single models for points? I have no idea. What I can see, and okay, Guardian is, and I think we'll find out at Adepticon, will be 11th edition. There's going to be big hype around bringing rules back that were in older editions that people have probably been requesting for a long time. And Games Workshop saying that they listen to people. But I think one of those will be points for equipment. I think that'll be a thing. If I had to guess, I would lean toward points for equipment psychic. They're like, look at us, we're listening, we're doing all these things, but in reality, like, come on. Art editions are usually an edition plus cleanup. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, and this one will probably be pretty close to 10th, and they'll add some things. So what we might see is 11th edition might be pretty nice to play until codexes come out. There's kind of a tendency for like the cleanup editions to be really nice with the older books, and then once the new books come out, it just messes everything up. So we'll see. Historically, I feel like that's been the case with just Games Workshop in general. Yeah, points to equip would be nice. I don't like having no-brainer options, and I understand they try to make the weapons so they're not. You know, they try to even them out, like, let's give more shots to this one or whatever, but, like, it's never worked that way. And I hate Dark Eldar warrior squads, how you give them 4 weapons. It takes 20 minutes to roll your attacks for one squad, and I hate that. Not a fan. So I have a lot of gripes with 40k at the moment. I will be cautiously optimistic for the game, and I will definitely be following the rules, and I'm sure we will be talking about this and all the rumors and all the leaks that come out, because I love doing that. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, I'm sucked into Heresy and Middle Earth and Old World at the moment, so I am enjoying 3rd edition Heresy so much. Oh yeah, the split data sheets, that's even worse. That's worse than just balancing weapons for no points, in my opinion. I do not like that. Let's get some colors. Yeah, no, I think that's a fair prediction. Yeah. I think if they are not putting points in, I absolutely think, yeah, I think you're right on the money what they're gonna do. Yeah. They mentioned in some kind of blog or Q&A or something a couple months ago, maybe last month, I can't remember exactly what it was, but they mentioned how they were looking into points for equipment. And that to me feels like that it could be a hint at what's to come. Okay, let's take a little inventory here. What colors we're doing. Let's get that guy out. That color out. We'll put you back here. Put you back. You out. Okay. So I think what we're gonna do, I'm gonna call stream here. I have basically just some major colors to do. It's brown, black, and silver is what I'm working on. Could be a crusade thing. That's true. Yeah, so I'm gonna call the stream a little early. I've had a headache all day anyway, so I'm gonna try to chill. I'm gonna try to work on this YouTube video. So Patreon members, hopefully there is a YouTube video up this afternoon for you guys to watch. Everybody else, you'll see it tomorrow. It'll be public tomorrow, and that'll be ready for you. But I'm going to try to work on these during the hangout. Tomorrow, we're going to do the giveaway. So if you come into stream tomorrow, I'm going to be painting Zeratul, who is a StarCraft character. He's a, what are they called? The weird space elf drainy guys. I'm gonna be painting him, and I'm gonna try to paint him one stream. May happen, may not. But if you are in stream and you chat, Protoss, there we go. If you say hello, you say anything in chat, I'm gonna write your name down. At the end of stream, we're gonna do a giveaway, and everybody gets an entry for free if you show up tomorrow. And I will send that mini to you free of charge. No matter where you are in the world, that's what Patreon pays for me to send this mini to you guys for free. So I'll send it to you. If you are a paid Patreon member, it's $1 a month. You get an additional entry into the giveaway. That's all it takes. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. We're gonna do this giveaway. It might take a little longer to finish if I don't finish them tomorrow. I'll be in communication, but that's what we're doing tomorrow. We're gonna do a giveaway. It's our February giveaway. Sith Ice, welcome in. I am just closing down the stream though. Sorry, bud. I'm on tomorrow, 11 a.m. doing a giveaway. It'll be a good time. I'm excited to paint this mini. Yeah, it'll be good stuff. Just came home. I'm sorry. Be here. Need more painting books. Yeah. Dude, you don't have to spend that. Just tell me what you want, dude. just message me. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful evening. I will be back tomorrow, and I will see you guys then. And hey, stream didn't cut out once today. That's a miracle. But yeah, bye everybody.